Recently, I've had some interest in my OpenMediaVault videos, and today we are going to look at the process of adding the disk and a shared folder and granting access in OpenMediaVault 7. Now, this video assumes that you have OpenMediaVault installed and you have administrator access to the web interface of OpenMediaVault. Let's take a look. Starting at the dashboard in OpenMediaVault, we are going to navigate to Storage and File System. Now, this machine only has one disk in it, but I'm going to talk you through the process of adding a disk. So from this screen, you would go to the plus icon, create and mount a file system. You would select the file system type. Keep in mind that on a NAS, you are not going to use NTFS, which is common on Windows, or APFS, which is the default on macOS. For this, we would select either ButterFS or ext4. Some people may like XFS. We don't have any extra disks currently, but you would select the type of profile, and then you would have to select one or more devices based on the profile you've selected. Now, obviously, I can't go through this without a disk, but from this screen, you would save it. And then you would select the formatted volume, and you would again save and apply. And now, at this stage, your volume should be mounted, as you can see here, and online, but it would not yet be referenced. That's where the next steps come in. So we are going to move to shared folders. This part we can go through. We're going to add a shared folder. We're going to call it Demo. You'll select a file system. We've only got the one disk, so we'll select that. It shows the path, and as you can see here, it gives you some defaults on who can read, write, and have other access to it. Optionally, you can add tags down here. Now, you can further restrict things here if you desire to. For demo purposes, we're going to stick with the defaults. Once you have tested and verified things are working, then you can move on to more granular tweaks to the access. So we're going to leave the defaults. We're going to say save. And we're going to hit the check mark in the yellow bar and apply yes. Okay, so now we've got a folder named Demo. However, it is not referenced. Moving to the next step. If you are setting this up fresh, you would want to move to Services. Now, this is where you have to think about your environment, and for most people, what you're going to want is SMB CIFS. This is the default networking and file sharing protocol for Windows systems. It does also work on Linux and Mac OS and other things, but primarily Windows users are going to want SMB CIFS. If you're a little more advanced, then you may want to take a look at NFS. There are advantages and disadvantages to both, but for the sake of argument here, we're going to stick with SMB CIFS. So we're going to go to Shares. We're going to add a share. We're going to select a shared folder. In this case, Demo. And we're going to add a comment. Demo for YouTube. You can review these other options. Some of them are platform specific. For example, Time Machine support is only applicable to Mac OS. You can refer to the OpenMediaVault documentation if you want additional details on some of these other options. For now, we're going to select just the default. We'll review these options, just taking sanity check, look through them, save, and apply it. Yes. Now we would want to set up some user access, right? If we come down here to users, and users again, we've got 2 users currently. We can add a user. For the sake of argument, we might call it YT demo. And we'll just use the same thing for the password because I'll delete this user after this video is recorded. All right, we'll save that. We will apply it. Again, if you are setting up OpenMediaVault for the first time, there's one other thing that sometimes still throws me off to this day. But if we come back to services, SMB CIFS, and settings, make sure you enable the service. If you don't enable the service, everything else is a moot point. It's not going to make a lick of difference, and you are just going to be frustrated. So the thing to pay attention to here is minimum protocol version. Now, there are some legacy applications and things out there that require SMB1. You'll know who you are if this is a requirement. SMB3 is current and is faster than previous versions. For testing purposes, we'll leave it at SMB2, but this will give you the chance to verify things are working, and then you'll want to consider changing to SMB3 and making sure you retest to make sure nothing breaks when you go to the newest version. So again, we've got SMB2. We haven't made any changes here, so we don't need to save. If you want users to have access to specific things, we'll come down here to our demo user that we just added. And you can see that this user is a member of a group called users. Okay, we want to make sure that our users have access to our folders. So if we come into users and select YouTube demo, and we're going to select shared folder permission. And as you can see here, we've got a list of different folders. So obviously our YouTube demo user is not B Brown, so we're going to say no access. We're going to give it read-only access to the test folder and read-write access to the demo folder. We'll save that and apply when it comes up here. Yes. How would you test this on your system? Well, that's easy. Let's jump over to the Windows system and take a look. All right, we're here on the Windows 11 machine. We're going to open up File Explorer, and we're going to do /172.16.74.141/demo. If we use our previous user, B Brown, and enter the password, it's going to deny access to that folder. However, if we try that again, and if we put our YT demo user in there and the password, we are in fact granted access. And create a new folder, and we're going to call this Win11. And of course, we can come in here and say new text document and edit that, and that is saved here now on the NAS. But wait, how about testing on Mac OS? Well, that's easy as well. We'll come over here to the Mac and we'll put in /demo And we are going to use, again, YT demo for our username and password. And it does, in fact, open up that shared folder. We say new folder, we can call it macOS. And we can come in here and we can create a new document, demo text from Mac OS. And if we do a save as save, we can select where we want to put it. In this case, we are going to put it here in the demo folder, in the Mac OS folder, and we're going to call it Mac OS demo. And as you can see, it appears right there. But I'm not going to leave out my Linux users. Let's look at that next. Okay, here we've got Ubuntu. We open up the Files app, other locations, and we're going to do SMB : and it fills in the first 3 octets of our network. 141/demo and connect. In this case, we're going to use our YT demo user and connect. And sure enough, we can create a new folder, and in the folder we can say open in terminal, and we'll say nano linux.txt. This is text from Linux. All right, if we come back over here, we might have to come up here and come back, and then we can see our Linux text file. We also, because we're logged in using that common user, we can see the macOS file, which will open in LibreOffice, as well as the file created on Windows 11, which really had nothing in it. It's just an empty text file. There you have it. These are the basic steps you need to take to go through to add a disk, add a shared folder, give users permissions to the folder, and we've tested it on Linux, macOS, and Windows. What are the next steps? Well, you'll want to make sure that you have the permissions locked down for your environment. For instance, if you are storing audio or video files on your NAS, you may want to give your family members read-only access. They don't need to modify your movies. They don't need to modify your music files. They just need access to them. Or, if you want to go a step further, you might consider not giving them direct access to those files at all, but using something like DAV file to access the audio files stored on your NAS. Let me know in the comments if this video answered your questions about OpenMediaVault and setting up folders and user access, and we'll try to address any questions in a future video. Until next time, this is Jeremy with the Practical IT channel. Like and subscribe on your way out. I'll see you next time.